Good morning, Pastor John and our Industry Assembly of God family. We are so glad to kind of be with you this morning. We unfortunately are not able to be there and to see you, but you know, that's the world we live in. And with COVID-19 shutting down international borders, we were unable to come back this year. But God has done some amazing things, and 2020 has been a very interesting year, but it seems like whenever the devil tries to hinder or hurt the church, God always brings opportunities that are of equal, if not greater, impact into our lives. And this morning we want to share a little bit about what's happened in 2020 and what our vision is of 2021.
So speaking of greater impact, one of the things that we saw this year as churches were having to close the doors of their buildings is that God doesn't close the church. He doesn't allow us to close the church. And so our Hope Church in Freedom Park, now Freedom Park is a pretty big community, an underprivileged, under-resourced community, but our church, if God has called us to be the salt of the earth and the church is the salt shaker, we kind of just shook out into the community and started small groups. And so we've done home groups throughout Freedom Park where people from the church have been just meeting in the yards outside of their homes. And so their neighbors have been exposed to the gospel and to worship and to Jesus in ways that they might not have been if they were unwilling or unable to come into the doors of the church building.
Another opportunity is when lockdown began this past year, we found that many of our Hope Church members were running short of food very quickly. And the Lord burdened our heart to begin taking out food parcels. And over a period of 23 weeks, we were able to give 65 food parcels every week. That is just great. We're super excited about that. It greatly helped our people. But it did cause a problem. The money that we used for those food parcels was not budgeted, and we hadn't raised any funds for it. So we made an appeal back to the United States, to some of our supporters, and you guys were a part of that appeal, and you took a hold of that, and wow, you so blessed us with your donation, and we were so grateful. That helped so much for us to be able to finish that food parcel program, but also for us to be able to continue the other ministries where we kind of took money to be able to give food parcels at the beginning. So thank you very much. Your generosity was greatly appreciated.
In addition to what God has called us to and what He's busy with in Freedom Park, God has also called us here in the city of Rustenburg where we stay. Freedom Park is just outside of the city and we stay in Rustenburg, but God has called us to really make an impact within the city as well. And one of the things that really just weighs passionately heavy on us is the plight of the orphans. There are the estimates in South Africa are that there's about 4 million orphans in the country of South Africa. About half of those, about 2 million of them, have been orphaned directly because of the AIDS pandemic. And I know you don't hear a whole lot about the AIDS pandemic right now, especially with this new epidemic, but it is still a real thing here. And, God brought us to this scripture verse in Psalm chapter 2, verse 8. Psalm 2, verse 8, God says, "Ask me, and I will give you the nations as your inheritance and the ends of the earth as your possession." And as we look at the country of South Africa, we are looking at this and saying, Lord, 4 million, that's a nation of orphans right here where you've placed us. And so for us to really minister to those that God has placed directly in front of us, we believe that God has called us to impact orphans and abandoned children, vulnerable children here in South Africa.
One of the things that is helping us get to be able to do that is in 2016, we were able to purchase a piece of property that's about 22 acres. And we have begun preparing that for an orphanage. This past year, we were able to put up 1.5 kilometers of cement precast fencing. And in order to give us security to be able to build and to be able to have children on the property. And this is one of the ways over the past year that we have been able to move closer to that goal of having children and orphans on the property.
So we are so excited to see what God is going to do next. He's provided the properties, we've got a place, he's provided the means to have security on this property, and now we are looking forward to just watching how he's going to provide and bring about facility, the buildings that we need to be able to give children a home. There are children just outside of where we stay that right now are named orphan, abandoned, forgotten. And that is unacceptable to God and to us. And so we want to build a home where children's names can be called accepted, loved, child of the Most High King. Amen. So that is where we're going in 2021. And we just want to thank you because you have chosen to make us a part of your answer to the Great Commission. We are so honored and so blessed to be a part of your missions team. Thank you for including us in what you all are doing in Industry, Illinois, and now what you're doing in Rustenburg, South Africa. I think we make a great team, and we are looking forward to one day being able to come and thank you in person. But for now, how great is it that our global God is not stopped by distance, he's not stopped by time zones or continents or even COVID-19. He has brought us together for such a time as this, and we just want to say thank you, and we love you, and one day we will reach out and shake your hand or give you a hug, but for now, a virtual thanks is what we can do.